All right, guys, it's time to do your week 3 matchup recap. Uh, we're going to start off with Pack Attack versus the aptly named Go Cubs Go, which, by the way, keep rolling, Cubs. You got a one-game magic number. It would be tremendous to just slap the Cardinals in the face and win the division in St. Louis. I would love every second of it. But that being said, Pack Attack beats Go Cubs Go. Jason, 47 total points. What a mess. What a nightmare. I mean, Cleveland's D shows why they should always be in the free agent pool. Your receivers, which, by the way, I'll remind you guys before I say this number, he started 3 wideouts because he had a flex at wideout as well. But his receivers combined for about 10 points total between 3 guys. I mean, really tough to win with that level of production. Jay Cutler, of course, bombed against the Jets, which who could have imagined that? I mean, the Jets just destroyed the Dolphins. But we'll get into that a little bit more later. On Pack Attack's side, Aaron Rodgers, guess he's still pretty good at football, guys. He's no Dak Prescott, but he's pretty good. He's all right. Tyreek and the Chiefs just keep on rolling. Monday night, my dad and I will be in Kansas City for the Chiefs-Redskins game, and I cannot wait. I think that the Chiefs are one of the best teams in football, potentially a Super Bowl contender, especially if the road to the Super Bowl runs through Kansas City. It's going to be really tough for anybody to take down the Chiefs. But, yeah, so if you guys need me this week, I will be in Kansas City. There's one thing that we really have to talk about here, though, and I'll get into this a little bit more later, but potentially the biggest burn in the history of trades in our entire league, DeMarco Murray for Jacquizz Rodgers. Ouch. That's how you get to be a playoff team, is pulling off a trade like that. So congratulations to my dad on being on the winning side of potentially the greatest trade in the history of our league. What if beats first round bust? So Joe takes down Reese, and you know what? It's got to be feeling sweet for Joe after all the crap Reese gave you after the draft. You come in here and you bitch slap Reese, and you know what, Reese? That's karma. I'm sorry, but you deserve to lose. That's what happens. You got taken down. Michael Crabtree came back to earth, and Michael Crabtree's a solid player. He's the equivalent in baseball of a 280 hitter. And the first month of the season, he batted .450. He's going to come back down to earth at some point, though, and have a streak of 0 for 20. So that's what you saw was his 0 for 20 streak, when he just absolutely laid an egg in a beatable matchup with the Redskins. Fournette and McCaffrey look good, but not great. But that being said, with the state of the running back situation in the league right now, you got to be pretty happy with Fournette and McCaffrey. Deshaun Jackson got rolling. But, Todd Gurley, man, the guy looks good. He looks legit. I'm starting to think maybe I shouldn't have traded the guy. So Todd Gurley looks fantastic, but you have to be a little concerned about Ty Montgomery's workload being reduced in Green Bay. Is he going to be an RB1 the rest of the way? I told you after 2 weeks, you should have probably sold high on him. It's tough finding trades, but running backs are in high demand. I still think that, Ty Montgomery, because there is still some very serious potential with Ty Montgomery. You should be able to get something back for him in a trade if you're not comfortable with him. If you are comfortable with him, just keep rolling him out there because the guy's going to have some big weeks. Julio Jones is being Julio Jones. He's going to get you 7 to 10 points most weeks. And then every once in a while, he'll erupt for like 30 points and at the end of the year, he finishes as a top-tier wideout. But it's not just about scoring points overall for the season. It's how you score them week to week. And for that reason, Julio Jones, top-tier wideout, obviously, but he is maybe should not be in the conversation with other guys that are in the top tier, like your Antonio Browns and Mike Evans and so on. But congratulations, Joe, on what had to feel like just a sweet victory for you. just bitch slapping Reese down. Sorry, Reese, but you reap what you sow. So there you go. And Big Brown and It Hurts beats Damaged Goods. So John beats Jared. Is anybody really surprised about this? Kareem Hunt is an absolute animal. John's team looks nasty. Antonio Brown is, of course, Antonio Brown. He's the best wide receiver in fantasy football for a reason. Zeke does not look like Zeke to me, though. He just does not look the same. I think he's very distracted, and I don't think he came into this season ready to go. So you got to be a little bit concerned with Zeke. I'd maybe be shopping him to see if I can still get that, Zeke Elliott value. Plus, in 2 weeks, they have the special hearing from the court to determine if his suspension is going to be this year or not. So there's still a very real possibility that he misses 6 games here, and that would be a crusher for you. What is up with Seattle's defense? What in the world is going on there in Seattle? They just suck. I mean, did you see that run from DeMarco Murray? DeMarco Murray, it looked like they weren't even interested in tackling DeMarco Murray. He was making guys miss, but then again, DeMarco Murray's no Jacquizz Rodgers, apparently. But Jared, look, you started a bunch of Dolphins, and they let you down against the Jets. I'm sorry, bud, but it just goes to show you that sometimes fanhood can screw you over. But I understand the logic behind it. The Jets are the worst team in the league. They're the Steve of the NFL. But you had to, you took the L, and really you deserved it because you sat Tom Brady in a home game. Now, listen closely, Jared. We never sit Tom Brady. Do you understand? All right. So I don't want to see this happen again. Brady's in your lineup, period. You drafted him with your first freaking pick. So obviously you have a lot of confidence in the guy. So start him. Don't overthink it. Don't get cute. You're starting Brady. James White proved why you can't trust a Patriots running back. Not just James White, but Gillislee, Rex Burkhead, Dion Lewis. They all proved that you just cannot trust a Patriots running back for production every week, which is really tough to put them into your lineup. But the main story in this one is, of course, the kicker spot. Jared, you just can't figure it out. Cody Parkey with a goose egg 0 against the Jets. I loved every second of it. I just love that you just can't figure out kicker. It's just wonderful to me. So on to my matchup, Bend the Knee, which is your undefeated commissioner, the only undefeated team left in the league. This guy right here beats the aptly named Snowflake, my brother Tony Jr., the Snowflake of the league. Where, honestly, you deserve to lose too. I told you in the preview that you absolutely cannot chase the points with Trevor Siemian. That is a stupid play. We've talked about this. You were falling for the illusion there of the first 2 weeks. What, do you think Trevor Siemian turned into Kurt Warner overnight? You can't ignore the fact that this guy's been a bad quarterback for a while now. And then, he's playing a tougher than you think Bills defense in Buffalo. It was just one of the worst cases of point chasing I've ever seen in the league. So really stupid decision, just stupid. Kelvin Benjamin is overrated, and I say that every week, and now he's injured too. Cam Newton looks horrible, looks done. So I don't want any part of that passing attack if it's not Christian McCaffrey, because Cam Newton can't throw an accurate pass past about 2 yards. So that's going to lead to a lot of Christian McCaffrey, but not much of anything else. Shady McCoy looks bad. A lot of work he's had in his career. He looks slower, doesn't have the same burst he used to have. He's still working through some injuries. Also, Mike Tolbert is getting some work now in the red zone. And, it makes sense. Mike Tolbert's a big touchdown monster, and he's going to vulture some TDs. So, Shady McCoy, I told you, I keep telling you, you're going to regret taking him over Mike Evans. And it's looking like that was a good call for me as well. Travis Kelce is garbage, and I hate him as a human being, so I don't really want to discuss him any further. Patriots are one of the worst defenses in football. And that's not so much from, I'm not discussing that from a fantasy perspective, but just for future weeks, file that away. If you have guys playing the Patriots, they're a go. You know, they are an absolute go. You green light anybody that's playing the Patriots. Dalvin Cook, there's reason for optimism on your team because he is the truth. We see him at Florida State. Dalvin Cook's the real deal, and he's going to be a monster all season long. On to my team, the Killer Bees from my team, Brandon, Breeze, Baldwin, and Bell, the Killer Bees. So I got Brandon Cooks. Looks like Tom Brady finally realized he's on the field. So now that Brady has that confidence in Brandon Cooks, I expect Brandon Cooks to be an absolute beast for the rest of the season. You saw when Brady needed a touchdown, who did he go to? He didn't look for Gronk. He didn't look for Chris Hogan. He looked for Brandon Cooks, and he was successful. And then he rewarded him with the 2-point conversion. So, you know, Brandon Cooks, he's the real deal, and he's going to be a beast in this offense, just like we all thought he was going to be. Drew Brees is Drew Brees. I don't really need to discuss him or Le'Veon Bell. I mean, you guys know what they're going to do. They're going to be beasts all year. Doug Baldwin, really hope he's not injured because he is my best wide receiver. He's going to be my most consistent guy if he just stays healthy. I don't really need to say anything else. I'm undefeated, and I'm going to be undefeated for the foreseeable future because I have an easy matchup with Steve next week. So speaking of Steve, we have OJ's Revenge beating Cash Me Outside. So Chris Mancusi, thank you, brother. Love you, man. Congratulations on your victory. That's awesome. You made some gutsy plays this week, and it paid off for you. Personally, I didn't really like the Mariota play against Seattle, but you know what? I was wrong. Mariota looked fantastic against Seattle. I mean, he did a great job. OBJ is back. He looks wonderful. Devontae Freeman is absolutely elite. And I don't know why he doesn't get the credit for being elite up there with like the Le'Veon Bells, the David Johnsons of the world. Freeman's right there. He's right there with those guys. He is an absolute super stud. Marshawn Lynch, however, is old and he's about done. And that it's clear every week he just gets a little worse and a little worse, and he's not going to hold up over the season. So if I were you, I'd be looking to do something about your second running back spot. But congratulations on the W. Now on to the part you guys have all been waiting for. On to Steve here, who really showed. I mean, Steve must really want that golden douche. I mean, you're thirsty for it, man. It is awful what you've been doing. Your dumpster fire of a team. I didn't think you could find a way to make it worse, but you did. I mean, Jacquizz Rodgers for DeMarco Murray. You idiot. I hope you enjoyed your 15 yards that you got out of Quiz, because he's going to have rough sledding again next week against the Giants, and then he's useless because Doug Martin's back before you get any good matchups with him. Meanwhile, DeMarco Murray's rumbling for, like a $140 and a touchdown against the Seahawks. So, yeah, I think he's fine. Theo Riddick, what the hell are you thinking? I mean, Theo Riddick? Oh, for God's sake, man, that's just horrible. And you know what's great is you found a way to make your team even worse, picking up Powell and Smallwood. I mean, oh my God, who wants a Philly running back? By the way, Reese too, stupid. Don't pick up like Garrett Blunt. They don't use the running back. Just bail on the running back position in Philly. It's over. Stop it. Dez, just not a great fit for this Cowboys offense, it doesn't look like. You know, Dak's not going to force it to him. I've been telling you, you know, Dez is just, he's not the same guy, and he's got a really tough schedule, and he's going to be shitty all year. That's what's going to end up happening. Jordan Reed continues to show that he's the most fragile player maybe in the history of the NFL. He just absolutely cannot stay on the field. I would trade him for a bag of peanuts if I were you right now. If he has any semblance of value, move him for a different tight end. Sorry. I mean, call up Jared and see if he'll take him for Jason Witten or something like that. Just get somebody that you can play every week. it's going to be you're going to have a rough time with him because he's going to be in that situation all season long. Will he play? Won't he play? And that's why you don't draft a Jordan Reed. You just don't. You've used more roster moves than anybody else. And I got to say, you're going to have to continue that because you need to hit a home run in free agency. That's the only chance you got. You don't really have any trade chips. You have A.J. Green, who's, he's part of one of the worst offenses in the league. And you have Carlos Hyde, who everybody thinks is going to get hurt. So tough to trade either one of those guys for full value. You're likely to be 0-4 after next week, and that'll pretty much do it for any shot you have at making the playoffs. So I love seeing it. I hope you go winless the entire year. I'm going to leave you guys at that. Final point, Steve, your team is truly, truly horrendous. And I love seeing you as the front runner for the Golden Douche. I can't wait for you to be sticker bitch next season. So I'll leave you guys with that. You guys have a great week, and I will see you all tomorrow with the matchup previews.